Even highly creative people don't always walk around bursting with original ideas. Some of them instead approach it strategically and work hard to stimulate their creative thinking. And sometimes that leads to unusual ways of reaching that aha moment. For example, a famous inventor, Thomas Edison, and a painter, Salvador Dali, used to nap in a very special way to boost their creativity. They would fall asleep and wake up a couple of minutes later at a certain stage of sleep, when reality would mix with fantasy. This short nap helped their creative thinking, and now the researchers from the Paris Brain Institute have proved that it actually works. They call this window of sleep a creative sweet spot, and it only lasts for a few minutes, just before drifting off to a deeper sleep. Scientifically, it's called hypnagogia state, or N1, and it's that kind of sleep when we already start seeing shapes, colors, or maybe even bits of dreams, yet we still hear what's going on around us. So if our sleep is interrupted right before we start falling asleep deeper, we still might remember what we were dreaming of. And there is a high chance that what we saw could be a solution to a problem, or inspiration to what we have been thinking before going to sleep. That's exactly what Thomas Edison and Salvador Dali used it for, and that's what the researchers put to test. For this experiment, they invited 103 healthy people who could easily fall asleep. To prepare for the test, they needed to sleep a bit less than usual and also avoid anything that would stimulate them. On the experiment day, everyone was presented with the same mathematical problems, which could be solved quicker if they found a hidden rule. 16 people cracked the code right away, so they were excluded from the following test. The remaining participants went on a 20-minute break where they could relax or sleep in a reclined position. They needed to hold a light drinking cup in their hand, and the idea was that if they start snoozing, the cup would fall and wake them up. This way, the researchers wanted to isolate the effects of the N1 sleep and make people awake before they go too deep into their sleep. After the break, everyone returned to their maths problems again, and those who spent at least 15 seconds in the N1 sleep had almost 3 times more of a chance to crack the hidden code compared to those who stayed awake, and nearly 6 times more compared to people who transitioned to the next sleep stage. Of course, the aha moment didn't happen on its own. The participants needed to apply some effort to solve the puzzle, but somehow, this stage of sleep does fuel up creativity. The researchers don't know the exact mechanism behind it yet, and say there is more research needed to understand it, but they think that a spark of creativity might be the result of loose cognition combined with weird associations. Another way to boost imagination is to put a task you're working on aside, but only for a very short period of time, just to loosen your fixation and then get back to it. Business researchers Jackson Lu, Mojuba Akinola, and Malia Mason did a number of experiments where they found that people who switched frequently between their tasks were more creative than those who switched less or didn't do it at all. For example, in one of the tests, they asked participants to come up with alternative uses for a brick and a toothpick. All 115 participants were divided in 3 groups, and each group had to switch between activities at a different pace. First group needed to switch after generating 1 use for each subject. First a brick, then a toothpick, then a brick again, then the toothpick. And that would go on until the time was up. Second group could switch whenever they wanted to, and the third one had to switch only once, halfway through the assignment. The results showed that the first group came up with the most original ideas. They were also more likely to give an answer that was not related to their previous response, thus having more variety in their replies, and there was almost no difference in performance between the two other groups. The researchers say that when solving problems that require a creative approach, people reach a dead end before they realize it. And they don't move on, but just continue going around in circles, whereas putting a task aside can help to reset our thinking and look at the problems with fresh eyes. So it's important to consciously take breaks, even force yourself if you need to come up with creative solutions. There are so many more ways to boost our creativity. Let us know what works for you, or if there is anything you'd like to try. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.